Well, hi there. I'm Linda, and you are in the Medicine Woman's Corner. I call myself a medicine woman because for the past 30 years, I have been working with the medicine that plants have to offer. I've learned a great deal, I've taught about them, I've used them, and I still am learning. I have this fantasy that I'm the herb lady who lives in the woods and people know about me and they come to find me and I give them all this great plant wisdom and help them. And I do. But that's a fantasy. And the reality is you won't find me on your GPS. So here I am and welcome to my virtual forest. If you found me, then I'm going to assume that you are also a plant person. Maybe you're a gardener or a farmer. Maybe you're a naturopath or an herbalist or someone studying to be one of those. Maybe you work in a nursery or you're a florist. Whatever has brought you here and however far you've come on your own plant journey, there's always something more to learn. Did you know that plants have consciousness? They have intelligence. Maybe you've talked to them, maybe you've played music for them, sang to them, but have you ever stopped to listen to what they may have to say? Because what I have learned is that plants do have spirits, and that these spirits want to be your friends, your allies, and that there is a way to communicate better with your plants and develop a much more intimate relationship with them. They want to be your friends. They want to be your allies. Let me backtrack. I've been doing this for a long time. I said 30 years. I teach classes at the community college level in natural remedies, including herbs and essential oils. I'm a Bach flower registered practitioner, and the Bach flower system is a very gentle healing system that involves flowers raising our vibration and balancing our emotions. It's a really cool thing. And I've studied things like homeopathy, Ayurveda, traditional Chinese medicine. I worked with essential oils, a little bit about a lot of things, but my focus has always been on plant medicine and on what plants have to offer us. This goes back ways to my childhood. I can remember being a very young girl and feeling kind of sad or disappointed about something. And what I would do is walk to the end of my backyard that bordered on an area that had a lot of kind of natural growing foliage. And I felt better. I just would stand there among them, maybe touch the leaves a little bit, and I would feel supported. I would feel consoled. Little did I know that what I was doing then was making friends, because that's exactly what I was doing. So over the years, I've come a long way since then studying about these things. But over the past year, I had a wonderful opportunity to study with Elizabeth Serafine. She is an amazing lady who has worked with shamans and martial arts masters and other indigenous healers. And she offered a year-long class that I had the opportunity to take. And in that class, I learned some very important things about spiritual practices. And by working with this kind of teacher and mentor, I was able to connect what I learned about spirituality to what I was doing with my plant medicine work. And this was really very cool. So that was a wonderful opportunity. So after that, I finally began to realize that not only was I going to work with how plants worked on a physical healing level and an emotionally balanced level, but also on a spiritual level. And interestingly enough, science has caught up with this. This is really very cool. I'm not a sciencey kind of person, but science has come up with some studies. There's actually a new branch of science called plant neurobiology, and this has validated the whole idea of plant intelligence and plant consciousness. This has been only in the last 20 years, so it's really rather recent, but they've done quite a few studies on how plants have nervous systems and how they communicate with each other. And as far as I'm concerned, if it hasn't already happened, there already will be studies on how they communicate with us, with we as humans as well. So that's really something I wanted you to know. If you're somebody who likes that kind of thing, there's a lot of information out there that you can look up. But what I have studied, going back to the class I was telling you about, what I have studied are the core practices of Western shamanism. Now, shamans are healers. They are very important healers, very important people in their tribes. They believe that all living things have spirits. And as far as they're concerned, those beings are their friends, maybe even their families. And they had ways to communicate with these plant spirits for the benefit of the individuals in their tribe and for the benefit of the tribe as a whole. So that was their place. And sometimes, in many cases, they would work with ceremonial sacred herbs like ayahuasca and peyote. And these herbs would put them in a trance and they would go into a very deep state where they could communicate with the plant spirits. So fortunately, an anthropologist named Michael Harner studied with a lot of these shamans in different cultures all over the world, and he is now considered the father of Western shamanism. He put together a way of communicating with plant spirits that involves going into a deep meditative state without the use of any kind of mind-altering plants. We honor these plants, but they don't fit in very well with our modern way of life. So what this involves is going into a state, a very deep meditative state, a theta state, if you will, where you have drumming music in the background that relaxes you and puts you in this state of mind where you can actually visit with the spirits of the plants. And this is what I learned, and this is what I have been practicing, and it's really been very cool. And I have found that it works. And you might ask, as I did in the beginning, when I first started doing this, how is it that you know you are talking to the spirit of the plant and not just letting your imagination run wild? I wondered that too. But I will tell you that every time I have done one of these little plant spirit journeys, something, at least one thing, has come up that is something that I would never have thought of. It comes from somewhere else. I know that. I'll give you an example. I did a spirit journey to my rosemary bush that is still growing in my herb garden in my backyard. And one of the things that I was told, among many other things, when I asked, how can I best honor the plant spirit, I was told, cut a sprig of the rosemary and put it on your altar, let it dry, and after it's dried, take the needles and mix them in with your smudge, my sage and cedar smudge that I use to cleanse my healing space. And I did that, and it was very fun and very, very cool, but it's not something that I would have thought to do on my own. So that message came from somewhere else. There are other examples that I can give you, and I invite you to visit my website, which is plantmedicineandmagic.com. That's plantmedicineandmagic.com, all one word. And if you would like my email, is my.plant.allies@gmail.com. I'd love for you to visit my website. I have more examples there. I have other information there on herbal remedies, on essential oils and flower essences. And of course, I invite you to submit your email, and then I can keep you in the loop on the other things that are happening in my plant medicine world. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your being here. Please like and subscribe. And I hope to see you more often. I'll be visiting this channel myself, and I will be adding information to my website. And I do offer personal consultations for those of you who want to go deeper in into your plant medicine work. We can customize them to meet the needs that you have at the time. And I would be more than happy to work with you. Eventually, I will be adding some mini courses, but I can keep you posted on these things. So again, thank you for visiting me here. And my practice, the umbrella name to my practice is Blooming Vibrations. So I'll close now by wishing you wellness, wisdom, and bloomin' vibes.